Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm on this account, the revisit that I made a video on yesterday. Now, in yesterday's video, it was honestly mainly just me ranting about my day and, revisiting the account for a bit. However, I've had a little longer to scan this account and what it has again. So I thought I might as well make a video talking about it, since it's likely that at least up until Himeko's patch, which is incredibly recent, I am going to be doing polls, right? Because it is optimal in my opinion, especially with some leaked info. So as you guys know, Sunday has already been leaked to get a Nova by a bajillion different reliable leakers at this point. The specific date of when the Nova is going to release, that is the only question mark. However, it's kinda soft confirmed in a way that Sunday's definitely in the next batch of Novas, and obviously the reason he'd be getting a Nova is for Himeko's team, right? So I have an E1 S1 Sunday on this account. That's right, not even just E0 S1, E1 S1. And if this E1 gets changed in his Nova to no longer have this stupid summon restriction, then it will be significantly stronger and quite highly synergistic with Himeko, considering Himeko has one of the Lycones with the highest defense shred in the game. If I remember correctly, it's 32%, right? So you use an E1 Sunday, you use Himeko's Lycone, and you use, let's say, a Welt on your team, and you do hit 100% defense shred, which is quite strong, quite potent. It's definitely worth looking into, right? So with that being said, it looks quite promising to invest into Himeko on this account for another DPS team. I already talked about this when I made my video about, the 4.4 limited characters with the highest value. The only one I gave a 10 out of 10 was Himeko, and this was exactly one of the reasons why. She is one of the most free-to-play friendly DPSs in the entirety of the game, while also having a very strong E0 to E2 jump, similar to Phaenon's. So you can put her with RMC plus Welt plus Hung PT, legit all free or standard characters, and she performs actually quite well, right? Of course, you guys know me, I'd eventually try to go for her E2. However, I simply just don't have enough pulls to guarantee E2 at all. And in fact, even E0 S1 might not be fully accomplishable by me. If I lose on the 75-25 or the 50-50, we'll see how all that goes. However, it should be fine because I have an E1 S1 Sunday. I do have an E1 Welt. If I lose to Welt one more time, either through the normal standard banner or through just pulling limited, I will use the golden token that I'm saving currently on Welt again to get him to E3, because at least as far as I can tell, this game gives golden tokens on anniversaries and at the end of either a planet or at the end of an entire storyline, right? So for example, they'd probably give a golden token on 4.7 or 4.8 after the entire Elation storyline ends, meaning it's not that far. We're about to go in 4.4 about a week from now, and then you only need 3 or 4 more patches and bam, there's another golden token and you get an E4 Welt. And if it means and helps me not have to invest into Himeko's after sales for a bit, I'll take it. Plus Welt is quite nice for trying to do some sustainless clears and for just increasing sustainability in general in most endgame content, which to be honest is the biggest reason I like it, right? Because I could go for E2 Robin, and I do think E2 Robin is actually probably better than Welt on quite a few teams in this game, because her energy regen issues get massively, decreased, because her E2 now gives her an additional 1 energy per hit that anybody on the team does. Her base is 2. That's technically a 50% energy increase when she's in her ultimate when allies are hitting, which is incredibly high. It also gives a speed boost so allies can get more turns off, consume less AV, yada yada yada. But I do prefer Welt just because he increases that sustain capability once again a little bit more, and he is a bit more general in comparison to Robin. Robin in teams with attack scalers, absolutely no issues with. But like, for example, one of the weird things I kind of have with Robin in today's age is the game is definitely leaning on more non-attack scalers. You see it with these elation units. You see it with a lot more HP scalers becoming common, right? A great example is the new Fua team, right? Like, Robin is advertised as this Fua character support. Of course, this was 2 years ago, so you could argue, oh, it's not the same. But, for example, you try to put her in a team with Ashvale and M-Blade. Although Ashvale gets the full buffs, M-Blade doesn't, because M-Blade's an HP scaler, and he's losing out on a pretty big part of Robin's buffing, if not the main part, which is her attack buffing, and he can basically only take advantage of the E1 res pen, the E2 speed buff, and of course the ult's action advance and her skill's damage bonus, right? It's not bad because once again it's an E2 Robin, you're at least getting something even if not the attack buffs, but it just isn't synergistic enough for me to fully feel comfortable investing into that, especially considering on this account I'm not getting the Fua team. I'm only getting the Fua team on one of my accounts, my other E6 Phanon one. So if I'm not getting the Fua team on this one, I just don't have any use for her, really, right? For those who don't know, this account has an E2S1 Phanon, an E0S0 Ceridra, obviously Sparkle because she was given for free during 4.0 on that selector, an E1 Evanesia, an E0S0 Hyacine, and an E0S1 Cyrene, an E2 Maide, right, and Huo. So one team is Phanon, Cyrene, one team is Phanon, Ceridra, Sparkle, Sustain, or Sustainless with RMC. The other team is Maide, Cyrene, either RMC or I just use Sunday, you know, if he's open for that. Plus Sustain or Sustainless, just depends on what I want to go for. And the third team on this account kind of doesn't exist because I refuse, or sorry, no, it does exist. E1 Evanesia and Yao Guang. But, you know, Evanesia is an attack scaler. She doesn't give a shit about attack. So there's no reason for me to use Robin here. For some reason, I always forget I have Evanesia on this account. I was about to say that I don't have a third team because I refuse to build Archer over here. Where is he? Right there. I refuse to build Archer even though I got him E0S1 from pulling a lot during, what was it, 3.4? I think on Sunday's banner, right? That's why this Sunday's E1S1. But yeah, so that's kind of all she wrote. I will be going for Himeko. I will be pairing my Sunday E1S1 with hopefully a Himeko E0S1 with, at least for now, in E1 Welt. I could get the E2 if it really makes that much of a difference. I don't know if it does. I'll look into that a little bit more. But, you know, best case scenario, E2 Welt, and then probably Donhung PT. In this case, I start running my Phanon Sustainless, and I start giving my day some other characters, or I just completely ditch my day, right? Because at least for now, there's no 4-team endgame content. The max is 3, so I can easily get away with just running Sustainless Phanon, my Evanesia team, and then my Himeko team using my Sunday and other characters. Right, so that's kind of the plan for this account, and obviously I'm not talking about really any further than 4.4 in Himeko, because as you guys know, I switch accounts quite easily. The second I get E0S1 Himeko and I end up having my fun with her, it's likely that I'm probably going to go to another account and focus somewhere else. To be honest, the most likely case scenario here is my E6 Phanon account because that's my account that is investing in the FUA team, and Aventurine is coming in the patch after 4.4 on that second half. I have E1 Emblade, I have E0 S0 Ashvale, and it's possible that Ashvale ends up rerunning in 4.5 as well, since he originally ran in 4.1. They'd be able to actually make more money off of his rerun because it's paired next to Aventurine in this case. I kind of want to get E1 Ashvale, and I also want to get E2 Emblade, and then I obviously am probably going to want to get E0 S1 Avon, or depending on how good his early Eidolons are, I might want to look into that as well. It's important to always be prepared here. Even though my Phanon account isn't pulling anybody during 4.4, I'm still going to want to actually be prepared, right? So that's about all. Just want to give you guys a quick update on this account. I could do like 5 different videos on this, but I don't feel like it with all the different accounts I have. And yeah, hope you all have a great day. Hope you all have a great night. Peace out.